Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel, and today I'll be discussing Australia's most humiliating military defeat. But before that, I'd just quickly like to say that a lot of you guys aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you do find yourselves enjoying this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, gets my content seen, and it's really appreciated. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Many people believe that Vietnam is the most embarrassing military defeat for Australia in the West. But, to quote Yoda, there is another loss that is so militarily embarrassing that has turned into a massive shitpost and has been on the receiving end of countless memes. This conflict is the Great Emu War. The Great Emu War is, to the majority of Australians, a colossal joke. However, some simply don't know about it, thus this video being made. So what exactly was the Great Emu War? Why did it occur? And what was the ultimate impact of the conflict and the final deal that Australia made with the emus to prevent such a conflict from ever happening again? Well, all this will be discussed in the video. However, we must start with the age-old question. What is an emu? An emu, believe it or not, is a bird native to Australia. It, just like its more dangerous cousin, the cassowary, is flightless, with no access to combat aircraft or strategic lift. And it is the second largest living bird and can grow to around 1.9 meters tall. This makes it the worst nightmare for any cattle farmers or innocent tourists driving around out west. A problem which led to the beginnings of this batshit insane war. The conflict began with the emus launching several offensives on the fence lines of major cattle properties out west, getting caught in them and severely damaging the installations, allowing the cattle, which the farmers relied on for food and income, to escape. Now, this may sound very stupid. I mean, why would an emu attack a fence line? I hear you non-Australians asking. Well, the answer is simple. You see, here in Australia, most animals can kill you, but there are many that can't. Thus, they make up for this by being as much of a pain in the ass as possible. If they can't hurt you personally, they can't hurt you physically or emotionally, they're going to hurt you financially. This means that emus are borderline suicidal when it comes to fences, rushing through them and destroying the barbed wire, and, as I mentioned above, allowing the livestock of the farmers to escape from the paddocks. This becomes even more of a pain in the ass because now you've got to hunt down your animals, take them back into your pens, and then leave them there whilst you have to fix a fence line, whilst the emus are probably destroying even more. At this point in time, the emus began to grow in numbers, making their frenzied rushes even more destructive, ruining fence lines with increasingly regularity and severity. Then, during this constant strategic assault on the fences, a drought struck, leaving farms without the ability to grow the required food and produce to maintain and feed their stock. And the emus then began to attack the food supplies as well. It was at this point that the farmers attempted to act, hunting the emus, but ultimately it came to no avail. The emus weren't just not only having superior tactics and numbers, they also had superior armor, with small rifle rounds not being enough to kill the birds. After repeated appeals and complaints to the government, the 7th Heavy Artillery Unit was sent to the territory between Perth and Kalgoorlie. They were equipped with Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. Shortly after arriving, the men spotted a group of 50 emus and opened fire. However, the emus took advantage of the superior mobility and broke into smaller groups, splitting up and making it more difficult to aim. Even more worryingly though, many of the emus, despite being shot, continued to run away, showing the ineffectiveness of Australian weapons against the emu's superior feather-based armour. By the end of the first day, only a dozen or so emus were killed, with little success on behalf of the Australian military units. The next significant event was on the 4th of November. Meredith, who was at the time the commander of the Australian units, had established an ambush near a local dam, and more than 1,000 emus were spotted heading towards their position. This time, the gunners waited till the birds were in close proximity before opening fire. The gun jammed after only 12 birds were killed, and the remainder scattered before any more could be shot. Within a week of first contact, the troops were recalled. Roughly 2,500 rounds, or in other words, a quarter of the rounds that had been given, had been fired, and they had only killed somewhere between 50 to 200 emus. Meredith did, however, note that his men had suffered no casualties. When the question was raised if a medal would be struck for the conflict, federal Labor parliamentarian A.E. Green replied that any medals should go to the Emus, who had won every round so far. For his involvement in the deployment, the Defence Minister, George Pearce, earned the unofficial title Minister for the Emu War. Although a more successful military operation was mounted against the Emus only a few days after, in the end it was the situating of a bounty on the Emus that proved most effective. Between 1945 and 1960, 284,700 emus were killed in WA. Australia's emu population remains stable to this day, and quite thankfully, they do not seem interested in resuming hostilities with the Australian government. This conflict has shown the strength and tactical abilities of the emus, proving that they could handle a military force equipped with machine gun rounds. Emus have also proven that their bulletproof armour can counter the aforementioned ammunition from the machine guns, and this earned them colossal respect, and the commander of the Australian forces described the emus saying, "If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. They can face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks." But yes, that's it for now. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, that's it for the time being. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so much. Bye.